Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Learn with DevOps Engineer. In today's video, we are going to walk through automating the CI pipeline for a Flask application using GitHub Actions and Docker. If you are a developer working with Flask or any web framework, this video will show you how to streamline your build, test, and deployment workflows using these powerful tools. So grab a coffee and let's dive into setting up a smooth CI process in just a few steps. To start, let's quickly cover why continuous integration or CI is crucial for modern development. CI allows developers to automatically test, build, and deploy their code whenever they push changes to a repository. This will help avoid breaking changes, ensures code quality, and speeds up the release process. In this video, we are using GitHub Actions for our CI, which integrates perfectly with GitHub repositories. We will also use Docker to containerize the Flask application, making it portable and easier to deploy. In the step 2, make sure you have something like a folder named Flask app followed by all the files mentioned here. As you can see on my screen, you have to create these files, and also I am going to paste the link in the description. Go and check out for Python related files. And now I am going to create a new file that would be a Docker file. We are going to Dockerize this application, so I'm going to create a Docker file. So to start with, in this Docker file, we'll use Python slim image. So for that, I'm going to write from Python colon. You can mention any version which you want. I'm using 3.9 here, slim version, followed by we are going to copy our project's files into the container. So for that, I'm going to create work directory space slash app. Then we are going to copy dot space slash app. So we are going to copy all those files, project files, into the app directory. Then we will run pip install -r requirements dot text. So in followed by I'm going to expose port 5000. Then we are going to run this command python comma app.py. Next up, let's create the CI workflow using GitHub Actions. This is where the magic happens. We will define a workflow to automatically build our Docker image and run tests every time code is pushed or a pull request is created. Let's get started. So here I'm going to give it a name here saying Flask CI followed by on. This should be small letters. On every push, I need to trigger this. Branches would be main, followed by I would like to trigger this on pull request as well. Branches would be again main branch. Then under jobs, I'm going to define build, and under build we are going to define it is going to run on Ubuntu latest. Same like the previous video, we are using the same steps here. So next would be steps followed by -name checkout code, then it is using actions slash checkout at version 2. This is using from the marketplace. Same, these steps are like same from my previous video. This step is a bit different here now. Setup Docker, and here again we are using Docker slash setup build x hyphen action at version 1. This is also using Docker from the marketplace. These are like ready-made actions which are available for us to use. So I'm using those actions. Now the next step is to build Docker image. So I'm going to write that build Docker image, and here I'm going to use run. Previously we were like using directly, now we want to run some commands. So for that reason I'm going to use run docker build dot hyphen t flask app colon ci. So I'm mentioning the image name here, as well as I'm telling the Docker to use this Docker file to build this image. Then running test in the CI. Now it's time to make sure everything works as expected by running tests. In our GitHub Actions workflow, we spin up the Docker container, expose port 5000 as mentioned in the above steps, and can then run tests against the app. For this, you can use any testing framework such as PyTest to write unit tests for your Flask routes and logic. Let's assume you've already written your tests and saved them in a test folder. For example, I wrote some tests here, as you can see on my screen. And also in the requirement.txt, I'm going to write these versions are like required for my test to run. For example, Flask is like required for the application, and these PyTest and this is like required for testing. So let's go back to the workflow. Now let's write the workflow. Run Flask tests, then again run colon pipe symbol followed by, I'm going to run Docker command now, Docker execute Flask app container. sh is like kind of shell command, hyphen c, I'm going to tell this to use this particular path, python path that is equal to slash app directory where all the source code is like available, space, I'm going to say pytest. This is just the command that you can use to run these tests, hyphen v slash app slash test. That's it. Close it. So now our workflow file is kind of ready. Now let's try to push these changes and see if our workflow is running successfully. So I did save this. Now I am going to push. Now let's go back to the workflow, refresh it. You should see a workflow running. I'm going to refresh it once again. Yeah, I can see this. Now let's open this and look at the step-by-step what exactly is happening here. So setup job in the first step, followed by checkout code. As you can see, it's trying to check out the source code, and then it is like trying to set up Docker, followed by it is trying to build Docker image. As you can see, what all commands which we have mentioned in the Docker file, the same are like happening here. Then it is like trying to run container, Docker run as mentioned, followed by wait for container, then view container logs. I mentioned this command, right? As you can see, this is a development server. Do not use it in production deployment. So you can use this command to check if your container is like running fine. So this looks good in our case, and I'm going to run some tests here. So as you can see, collected one item, passed 100%. So our tests are like running fine. That's it. You just automated the CI pipeline for your Flask application using GitHub Actions and Docker. Now, every time you push code or create a pull request, GitHub will automatically test and build your application, saving you lots of time and effort. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more such use cases. Thank you.